came back into the market in a very big way.
What we know now is Wall Street can bring down Main Street.
People are seeing this, and those memories of fear are coming back.
When you have a 401k or a 403b, those kinds of accounts, they are incredibly susceptible to downturns.
The Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped more than 900 points. More than 900 points.
There are questions about how to best save for retirement.
Part of the problem is confusion.
Time keeps on slipping into the future.
The first rule in investment is don't lose. And the second rule in investment is don't forget the first rule. And that's all the rules there are.
When the market goes up, you go up. When the market goes down, you don't go down. Save Money Radio, your money safe and sound.
Welcome to Safe Money Radio with your host, Brad Pistole. Brad is a retirement and income specialist, primarily serving Springfield, but he's sought after nationally for his expertise in helping people secure their retirements. Mr. Pistole is a licensed life insurance professional in the states of Missouri, Arkansas, and Kansas, and he specializes in working with people who are near retirement and those who have already retired with wealth management, income planning, and asset protection strategies.
Save Money Radio, your money safe and sound.
And now, here to talk with you about securing your retirement, your host, Brad Pistole.
On January the 8th of 2024, I flew to New York City and then traveled on to Long Island to be a guest on a Fox Business special with world-renowned economist Tom Hegna. Tom has a new book and a new show, and the title is Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Now, Tom has spent his entire career trying to help people become true millionaires. Now, what do I mean by true millionaires? Well, these are people who truly own all of their assets. It doesn't matter whether you have $100,000 or $500,000 or $1 million. My question to you is it true wealth? And this is what I mean by that. If it's tax-deferred wealth from something like a 401k or an IRA, then you have a joint owner for that account. Uncle Sam owns part of it, and he has controlling interest in that account. He's not even a silent partner. He will tell you when you have to take distributions. This is called required minimum distributions, and it's known as RMDs. He will tell you how much you will have to pay in taxes after each distribution for the life of this account. And he will do the same thing for all of your heirs because he's the one who's completely in control of moving the levers up and down on all of the tax brackets. The other thing that determines whether or not you are a true millionaire involves how much debt you have. If you have $500,000 of wealth in a tax-deferred account, but you also owe $300,000 in balances on your credit card and your mortgage payments and your auto loans, then that's not true wealth. This means that, yeah, you've done a pretty good job of saving, but guess what? When you start taking out all those distributions, you're going to owe Uncle Sam. And with very few exceptions, you're going to owe both federal and state taxes. And let's not forget about your Medicare premiums and the taxes that you're going to pay on your Social Security income. And yes, these premiums and these taxes are based on the distributions you take from all other sources of income. So if it's tax-deferred income from a 401k or an IRA, your Medicare premiums and your taxes are going to be higher than they would be if you had taken those distributions from a tax-free account. And don't forget, after you pay all of these taxes, if you have personal debt, you still have your mortgage payments and your credit card payments and your car loan payments. Friends, this is not true wealth. True wealth means you are free from the burden and the obligations associated with taxes and loan payments. I am passionate about helping people become truly financially independent. I show them how to develop contractually guaranteed tax-free lifetime income. So it was an honor for me to fly out to Long Island and be a guest on Tom's new show. Tom and I share a lot in common. He's been on Safe Money Radio as a guest several times. So today I want to share part of what Tom shares in his new book, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? That is just now being aired with people all across the world. When I landed on January 8th in New York City, it just so happened that I'd been interviewed the previous Friday by Ann Tergerson from the Wall Street Journal for a piece that she was doing about required minimum distributions. Ann reached out to the Ed Slott Advisor Group and asked if there was someone who had a client that would be willing to be interviewed regarding their required minimum distributions. So I reached out to her. And after talking with several different experts from all across the country, she decided to interview me and my client, Kevin Lynch. Now, friends, you've heard me talk about Kevin before. Kevin just retired as a professor from the American College of Financial Services in January of 2024. He has 23 different designations, including his CFP. And if you want to watch the interview that I've done with Kevin, you can watch it on YouTube. Just type in Brad Pistole and Kevin Lynch. Now, on January the 8th of 2024, this article was in the Wall Street Journal, and I was able to get off the plane and walk over and pick up the last copy of this story in the Wall Street Journal. And here's the deal. It's very, very interesting just how much all the things in this Wall Street Journal article had to do with exactly why I was there, which was talking to Tom about who wants to be a millionaire for the Fox Business Special. So I want you to stay with us today. We're going to be talking about all these things. We're going to be talking about building true wealth. We're going to be talking about tax deferred versus tax free. We're going to be talking about what happens when Uncle Sam requires distributions from your account. You know, at the end of 2023, the stock market hit all-time highs. Well, that's the good news. But this also means that required minimum distributions were at all-time highs. And you know what that means? Taxes, and a lot of them. Those taxable distributions affect your Medicare premium. They affect your Social Security taxation. They affect your federal taxation and your state taxation. And friends, that doesn't sound like true financial freedom to me. So stay with us. Our phone number is 866-780-7233. You can call us anytime and ask for our free information. And if you're listening right now and you would like to go watch the interview with Tom Hegna on Fox Business, it will be airing in early February. Just go to YouTube and type in Brad Pistole and Tom Hegna. The interview will also be on my website at guaranteedsafemoney.com. If you would like a free financial consultation, you can call anytime at 866-780-7233. When we meet, I will give you a free copy of my #1 best-selling book, Bulletproof, The Safe and Secure Retirement Income Plan. Now, we're going to take a quick break, but stay with us. We're going to be talking about more of the things that you need to know to become truly financially independent. Our number again is 866-780-7233, and there's always someone standing by to take your call. Well, I must take a short break. This is Brad Pistole, and you're listening to Safe Money Radio. Let's pause for some exciting announcements.
Are you concerned about long-term care? You're also probably concerned about paying the high cost of long-term care coverage and increasing rates. Some long-term care rates have increased by as much as 40%. Thanks to recent changes made by Congress, you may be able to use non-qualified tax-deferred retirement money to pay for your long-term care tax-free. Some hybrid long-term care annuities or life insurance solutions can even double or triple your funds available for care. If you have non-critical health issues, you should still call us. Some insurance products have simplified underwriting, and a simple telephone interview will determine your qualification. Call us now if you want information on this opportunity to use tax-free money to pay for your long-term care. Our phone number is 866-780-SAFE. That's 866-780-7233. Now back to more Safe Money Radio with your host, Brad Pistole.
Welcome back. I'm Brad Pistole, your host of Safe Money Radio. I am a capital preservation and strategic income planning specialist working with clients right here in Springfield and Ozark, Missouri. Friends, on the show today, we're talking about a recent trip I made to New York City and to Long Island to be interviewed on Fox Business by world-renowned economist Tom Hegna. Tom has been on PBS for many years. He has several best-selling books. He speaks all over the world. His most recent show on PBS was titled Don't Worry, Retire Happy, 7 Steps to Retirement Security, and it aired in more than 80 million homes in the United States and Canada. Tom is no stranger to the financial world. In fact, he's been named one of the top 20 most famous public speakers in the world. And Tom has a brand new book. The title of the book is Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And Fox Business has been releasing special interviews about this book with Tom that he has had with a handful of financial experts from all across the United States. And I was honored to be one of those financial experts. Today, I want to take a sneak peek into Tom's new book and talk about some of the concepts he shares, because Tom and I are passionate about a lot of the same things. Tom has spent his entire career teaching people how to become truly financially independent. He wants to show you how to become a real millionaire. Now, what do I mean by real millionaire? Well, it's simple. There's a big difference in a person who has saved $1 million in a tax-deferred retirement account and in a person who has saved $1 million in a tax-free retirement account. There is a huge difference. In Tom's new book, he talks about the 3 phases of wealth. He talks about saving and investing for the future. He talks about debt. He talks about making sure you're working with an advisor who truly gets it and who understands the taxes involved with distributions from retirement accounts. He talks about understanding your own specific situation and where you are on your journey toward retirement. He talks about life insurance and building true wealth. And he shares several tips from financial experts who talk about some of the most important financial planning facts that you need to know today. So let's begin with the 3 phases of wealth that Tom shares in his new book, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? The 3 phases are building wealth, protecting wealth, and distributing wealth. Now, obviously, the younger you are, the greater the chance that you are in phase 1, which is building wealth. If you've listened to my show or my podcast for very long, you know I talk a lot about the RISA that was created by Dr. Wade Pfau. This stands for Retirement Income Style Awareness, and we use this retirement income survey with all of our clients. When you take this 15-minute survey, you will end up in one of 4 categories that pertain to financial planning. These categories are total return, time segmentation, protected income, and risk wrap. A younger person is more likely to fall into one of the categories like total return. I mean, that's obvious. They're young, they're investing, and they're swinging for the fences, and that's okay. They can handle a lot more risk during the building wealth phase of their life. But now, if you're listening to the show right now and you're 65, you don't need to be swinging for the fences. You're now in the protecting wealth phase of life, and your number one goal should not be focused on returns. Unless you fall into a very rare category and situation where you have unlimited income from pensions and Social Security and income from multiple sources. If you don't need any income from your assets, then you might still fall into the total return category. But this is very rare, and I talk to people all across the United States. Most people need to use their assets that they've been saving their entire life for their retirement income. If you are nearing retirement or you are already retired, you fall into the protecting wealth and distributing wealth phases of life. During these phases, you've stopped making contributions to your accounts. Now you're trying to protect it and take the distributions that you're going to need to last the rest of your life. The Retirement Income Style Awareness Profile calls this protected income and risk wrap. You need to start protecting what you've spent your entire life earning, because not too far down the road, you're going to start the distribution phase. You're going to turn on the water faucets, and you're going to start taking distributions back out of your accounts. So the first step for anyone when it comes to retirement income planning is to figure out what phase of life you're in. Are you in the building wealth phase? Are you in the protecting wealth phase? Or are you in the distribution phase? All 3 of these are very, very important. In Tom's new book, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, he says you need to start by protecting your greatest asset. And what is your greatest asset? Well, a lot of people think it's their home, and a lot of people think it's their 401k, but that's not the correct answer. The number one greatest asset is yourself. You need to make sure your income is protected. You need to make sure your life is protected. You're probably the primary income earner for your family. You are your greatest asset. So contrary to what many people believe, the most important asset that you can protect from excessive risk is yourself. You know, risk is defined as your exposure to danger. In wealth creation and in wealth management, these dangers come in all kinds of shapes and sizes. It's important to know that you can't shield yourself from every dangerous situation, but you can manage the exposure these damages can have to you and to your cash flow. This is something called risk management, and the use of insurance can be one of the most effective ways to cover your assets and protect yourself against risk. Now, I've been saying this for 15 years on this show. Insurance plays a very important role when trying to build a successful retirement income plan. Most of you are familiar with using insurance to protect your home, your automobile, your boat, your motorcycle, your rental properties, and many other things. But millions of people don't realize that they can use insurance to protect their income and their financial assets, and you absolutely can. Friends, you need to protect yourself from the loss of income due to market volatility. You need to protect yourself from the loss of income due to an untimely death. You need to protect yourself from the loss of income that might be due to disability or other health circumstances. There's always something that you can use in the insurance field to protect you from complete financial disaster. For instance, the right kind of annuity can protect your income. It can protect you from stock market losses, and it can protect you from outliving your assets. Life insurance can protect you from early death or some other type of tragedy. Having all of your financial bases covered is a very important part of financial planning, and it only takes one disaster in any one of these areas to completely wipe you out financially. If you want to learn more about this, just call us anytime. We always offer my books and Tom's books free to our listeners. You can call us anytime at 866-780-SAFE. That's 866-780-7233. When you call, just ask for a free financial consultation. I will give you a copy of my #1 best-selling book, Bulletproof, The Safe and Secure Retirement Income Plan. And remember, America's IRA expert, Ed Slott, who is a tax expert and a CPA from New York, wrote the foreword to this book. And we talk about the power of having tax tumors removed permanently from your retirement accounts. Call us anytime. I'll give you a copy of this book absolutely free. Our number is 866-780-7233, and there's someone standing by right now to take your call. This is Brad Pistole, your host of Safe Money Radio. I'll be right back after this informative message.
The market goes up and the market goes down. It always has, and it always will. But if you are in or near retirement, do you have the time to wait for the market to go through these cycles? Think about it. Having your money invested in the market is like walking next to the edge of a cliff. What if you lose your step? What if the edge gives way? What if a strong wind blows you over the side? It is good to stay away from the edge of disaster in life, and when it comes to being exposed to financial risk, it is no different. Shouldn't you at least try to protect the money you depend on for your retirement income? Pick up the phone and call us now to receive your complimentary Safe Money Information Kit and a copy of Brad's best-selling book, Bulletproof, The Safe and Secure Retirement Income Plan. Our phone number is 866-780-SAFE. That's 866-780-7233. Now back to more Safe Money Radio with your host, Brad Pistole.
Welcome back to Safe Money Radio. I'm Brad Pistole, a certified financial fiduciary and a safe money retirement specialist. Friends, on today's show, we've been talking about a new book by Tom Hegna called Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Now, I flew out to New York in early January of 2024 and did an interview with Tom that aired on Fox Business. And today, I've been sharing some of Tom's concepts from the show. Tom says something near the end of this new book that really stood out to me, so I want you to listen closely. Tom says this: listen, marriage is hard, but divorce is hard, so choose your hard. Obesity is hard. Being fit is hard, choose your hard. Being in debt is hard. Being financially disciplined is hard, choose your hard. Then he goes on to say, life will never be easy. Life is always going to be hard, so choose your hard. He then says, you're not born a winner or a loser. You're born a chooser. Your entire life is a sum of all your choices. Now, some of us have made good choices. Others of us have made bad choices. But that doesn't stop us from making good choices in the future. If you remember nothing else, remember this: you're not a winner, and you're certainly not a loser. You were born a chooser. So choose wisely. Wow, friends, this is so powerful, and it reminds me of this. One of my mentors, Jim Rohn, used to always say this: you're either going to pay for the decisions you make today, or you're going to get paid for the decisions you make today. The choice is yours. One way or the other, payments will be made. Do you want to pay for the decisions you're making today, or do you want to get paid for the decisions you're making today? If you want true financial independence, you need to realize there are all kinds of hard out there. Marriage is hard. So is getting divorced and giving up half of your wealth. If you don't believe me, ask someone who's done that in their life. I had breakfast with Tom when I was in Long Island for the Fox Business interview, and he told me about one of his friends. This friend used to be financially independent. Then he got divorced and lost half of his wealth. Then he got divorced a second time and lost half of his wealth again. Now you probably know what's coming next. He got divorced a third time and gave up half of his wealth a third time. Then he found himself in a real financial mess. Friends, remember, marriage is hard. Divorce is hard. Choose your hard. Obesity is hard, and being fit is hard. If you're overweight and you're having health issues, it's hard to constantly go to the doctor. This steals your time and your energy and your income. Having to budget for medical bills is not something anyone wants to do. Yes, I know personally, it's hard having to do those push-ups and those sit-ups. It's hard to walk that mile, especially when it's 15 degrees outside. It's hard to eat healthy and to push away from the table. But the alternative is much harder, so choose your hard. And finally today, being in debt is hard. It's terribly hard. Yes, there are a lot of decisions that you have to make to be financially independent, and we talk about those on this show every single week. We talk about living on less income. You know, I'm financially independent, and I know a lot of really wealthy people. Well, guess what? Most of them live on 50 to 60% of their income. Here's their philosophy. They give away 10% to charities. They save 20%. They have an emergency fund that they've built for 6 months or a year, and they invest back into their businesses and live on the rest. So here's the thing, and I heard this many years ago, and I've never forgotten it. Wealthy people invest their money and spend what's left. Poor people spend their money and invest what's left. Do you see the massive difference in those two philosophies? Let me say that again. Wealthy people invest their money and spend what's left. Poor people spend their money and invest what's left. Make sure you're paying yourself first. Build your emergency fund. If you don't do it first, you will never do it. And equally important is what you give away to your church or your charity. Do this first. Then save at least 20%. I try to save 30% and put that money into a tax-free savings vehicle like a Roth IRA or cash value life insurance. Once you have done these things first, make the choice to live on what's left. Life is filled with really difficult choices. If you want to be totally and completely financially independent, you need to make sure you're choosing the right type of difficult choice. Choose the ones that will lead you to true freedom. Friends, our number is 866-780-SAFE. That's 866-780-7233. Call us anytime and ask for our free financial information. I will give you a copy of my best-selling book, Bulletproof, The Safe and Secure Retirement Income Plan, and I will meet with you and give you a free financial consultation. Our number again is 866-780-7233, and there is always someone standing by to take your call. This is Brad Pistole, your host of Safe Money Radio. I'll be right back after this informative message.
Did you know that your Social Security could be much higher depending on what option you choose for claiming your benefit? Social Security income is not as simple as some think. When should you take it? Should you only take your spouse's benefit while you continue to work? Deciding how to receive your Social Security benefit can make your head spin. Don't decide about your retirement without the facts. Call us now and ask for your complimentary Social Security guide at 866-780-SAFE. That's 866-780-7233. You're listening to Safe Money Radio with your host, Brad Pistole.
Welcome back to Safe Money Radio. I'm Brad Pistole, a certified financial fiduciary and a safe money retirement specialist. Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, and it's something that's on everyone's mind today: retirement. The day you get to say goodbye to the Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. grind, and you get to say hello to staying up late, sleeping in, and doing whatever you want. You have spent your entire life working for this, and you've earned it. You get to be your own boss. You get to do whatever you want to do as often as you want to do it. And hopefully, you've taken the proper steps to do all the things you want to do to live the retirement of your dreams. And here's the deal. You better have the right plan in place to make sure that you can afford to do the things that you want to do in retirement. And today, we're going to be talking about this. Now, my good friend and world-renowned economist Tom Hegna has spent the majority of his career talking to people about planning for their retirement. His shows on PBS have aired in more than 80 million homes in the United States and Canada. He's written 2 best-selling books, Paychecks and Playchecks, and Retire Happy, 7 Steps to Retirement Security. And in his most recent book, Retire Happy, he talks about the 3 phases of retirement that everyone is going to go through. And we're going to focus on each one of these during today's show. Our number is 866-780-SAFE. That's 866-780-7233. And if you would like to read a copy of Tom's book, Don't Worry, Retire Happy, just call us anytime. We'd be more than happy to give you one absolutely free. Now let's jump right into the 3 phases of retirement and talk about each one of these today on the show. The 3 phases of retirement are the go-go years, the slow-go years, and the no-go years. And whether you realize it or not, you're going to go through each one of these phases unless something happens to keep you from making it to the next phase. So let's begin by talking about the one that most of us are focused on. The first phase of retirement is called the go-go years. This is when you very first retire and you're so excited to go do anything and everything under the sun. You're going to take the trips that you never took when you were working, or maybe the trips that you could never afford because you were raising children and helping pay for college and insurance and tuition. The go-go years are when you're going to play golf as often as you want to. You're going to go fishing and hunting whenever you want to. You'll go shopping whenever you want to. You'll go to the matinees and the movies whenever you want to. You'll go out to eat whenever you want to. You'll go visit family and friends and take the cruise you always wanted to take whenever you want to. These years are typically in your mid-60s to early 70s, and that's when you're going to go, do the things that you've always wanted to do. Now, here's a key thing to think about during these years. You are obviously going to spend more money during this phase of retirement than any other phase. Tom Hegna will often say to people, "What day of the week do you spend the most money?" And the answer is obvious. It's Saturday. You see, during your working years, Saturday is the day that you get to go play golf. It's the day you take your boat to the lake. It's the day you take your wife out to dinner. It's the day that you go to a movie. It's the day you go down to Silver Dollar City. It's the day you go to the gun show or the craft fair or whatever community event is taking place during that weekend. Saturday is the day that you spend all your money. It's the day that you're going to go do all the things that you enjoy because remember, you have to work Monday through Friday. But then Tom follows this up by saying this, guess what happens when you retire? Every day becomes Saturday because every day is the day that you get to do whatever you want to do, whenever you want to do it. If you want to play golf 3 times a week, you will. If you want to play golf 7 times a week, you will. You will go wherever you want to go and do whatever you want to do, and especially during the go-go years. This is the first phase of retirement. Now, I know this to be a fact because my father loved to play golf more than anything else in the world. And there were many, many times in his 60s and early 70s that he and my mother played golf 6 days a week. And they even took golfing trips. Their favorite place to play golf was in Colorado. And they would take a 2-week golfing vacation with their friends to Colorado every summer. Now, this shouldn't be a shocker, but guess what? Golf can be really expensive. Even if you have an unlimited membership to play golf 6 days a week at your home course, there are a lot of balls and a lot of tees involved, and gloves and shoes and hats and clothes, golf cart rentals, and buying things and maintaining things like your own golf cart or new clubs or new bags or replacing the grips on your clubs. And hey, that's just the beginning. If you have a golf addiction like my father did, you also know this involves the expense of many other things like eating meals on the road and at the golf course, and the gasoline from driving to and from the courses and on your vacations. And the list just goes on and on. So trust me on this. If you and your partner love to play golf, you could easily spend $25,000 a year playing golf. And that's just one hobby. Now, what about all the other expenses that come with things like hunting and fishing and shopping and traveling and various social events? During the go-go phase of retirement, in your 60s and early 70s, you're going to spend the most amount of money. Now, have you ever talked with a financial professional about your plans for the first phase of retirement? Do you know how you're going to be able to afford taking out a significantly higher amount of money in the early years of your retirement right after you stopped working? If you haven't, why not? Especially if you have a current financial planner and he's never talked to you about this. This is critically important to the success of your retirement. Remember, this will probably be a significant transition time for you and an adjustment because most people live on 60 to 70% of the income that they were used to making when they were working. And then when you begin your retirement, you start off by spending money on all the things you've always wanted to do. Do you have a plan for this decrease in income and this increase in spending? Remember, failing to plan is planning to fail, and no one wants to go back to work after they retire. Failure at this point in life is not an option. So let me ask you this. What is your plan to make it through this first phase of retirement? Do you have a bulletproof plan in place to keep you from running out of money in retirement? Both my son and I are retirement income certified professionals through the American College of Financial Services, and this is exactly what we do for our clients. We find out what their goals and purposes are for their retirement, and we create a bulletproof, foolproof plan that will allow them to do all the things they want to do in their retirement years and never have to worry about running out of money. Friends, if you would like to read a copy of my book, Bulletproof, the Safe and Secure Retirement Income Plan that will show you exactly how to do this, just give us a call at 866-780-SAFE. That's 866-780-7233. I do not charge fees to meet with my clients, so just request a free financial consultation. We'll take a look at your current plan and see whether or not your goals for your retirement are realistic. It's one thing to want to do anything and everything under the sun, but it's another thing altogether to actually have the money to do those things. You better have the right plan in place, And that's exactly what we do for our clients. Call us anytime at 866-780-7233, and we will put together the plan that is right for you. We will put you on a path to a safe and secure retirement income plan. Since I have to take a break, now would be a great time to call me for a complimentary copy of my best-selling book, Bulletproof, The Safe and Secure Retirement Income Plan. And I'll also give you a copy of my Safe Money Kit. My number is 866-780-SAFE. That's 866-780-7233. Isn't it time to stop exposing your retirement to market risk? You're listening to Safe Money Radio with Brad Pistole. If you're listening right now and you work in the Cox Health system, you might have recently received notice about an option that is available to you to move your frozen pension plan. One of the options available to you is to take a lump sum distribution, and you can roll this over to an IRA outside of the Cox Health plan. I'm a retirement income certified professional, and I've been helping Cox employees move their 403Bs and frozen pension plans out of the Cox system for the past 15 years. We know this system inside and out, and we can make this a very easy process for you. If you or someone you know has a frozen pension at Cox, just give us a call at 417-581-9222. Remember, this rollover is not a taxable event. We will show you how to keep this money 100% safe, and we will show you how to use this as a pension that will last the rest of your life. Our direct number is 417-581-9222, and you can call or text us anytime. Now remember, you only have until May the 19th to complete this rollover. So give us a call today at 417-581-9222.
You're listening to Safe Money Radio with your host, Brad Pistole.
Welcome back. I'm Brad Pistole, your host of Safe Money Radio. I am a capital preservation and strategic income planning specialist working with clients right here in Springfield and Ozark, Missouri. Friends, today we've been talking about the 3 phases of retirement: the go-go years, the slow-go years, and the no-go years. When you first retire, you spend more money than you do at any other time in retirement because you're going to go and do all the things that you wanted to do when you were working. You take the trips and the cruises that you never took before. Maybe you take the entire family on a vacation. You play golf and tennis. You go fishing and hunting. You take a lot of day trips. Maybe you run down to Branson and go shopping, or maybe you go to the lake or to Silver Dollar City. Maybe that's when you buy the boat that you always wanted because now you can use it anytime that you want. Maybe you buy your own golf cart because you plan on playing 4 to 5 times a week. But one thing is certain, during the first phase of retirement, you're typically going to spend more money than you do in phase 2 and phase 3. Because in the first phase of retirement, you will always be on the go. Tom Hegna, a world-renowned economist, says, guess what day of the week you spend the most money? Saturday. It's the day that you go do everything you want to do because you had to work Monday through Friday. Well, guess what happens when you retire? Every single day becomes Saturday. And you can do whatever you want to do whenever you want to do it. So you have to have a plan for spending money like this. Now, after the go-go years, you enter the second phase of retirement, and this is called the slow-go years. For a lot of people, this happens in their mid-70s to their early 80s. And this is when things start to slow down because you just don't feel like always being on the go like you did in your 60s and early 70s. You might only take a vacation once or twice a year. You might start to develop some health issues that change your dietary habits and your travel habits, and it might force you to stay closer to home because of doctor's appointments and therapy and things like this. This is normally when you start taking trips that are closer to where you live, and maybe the kids have to come see you during the holidays because you just don't feel like traveling the way you used to. You probably stop driving at night, and you find yourself going to bed earlier and getting up earlier. This phase of retirement is called the slow-go years for a reason, and you're going to experience a slowdown in many things, including your spending. You probably won't spend as much money as you did during the go-go years, but it's definitely a part of life that you have to plan for because there are some key things that generally start taking place during the slow-go years that lead you into the final phase of retirement, the no-go years. And we're going to be talking about this in our next segment. And you really need to be prepared for this, because sometimes, even though it would make sense that you would spend the most amount of money during the go-go years and a little less during the slow-go years, and then hardly any at all during the no-go years, sometimes the no-go years are the years when you spend more money than any other time in life. And we're going to talk about why. So stay with us. After the break, we're going to be talking about what happens in the last phase of retirement, and that's the no-go years. Our phone number is 866-780-SAFE. That's 866-780-7233. And we specialize in helping our clients be prepared for all three phases of retirement: the go-go years, the slow-go years, and the no-go years. Have you worked with a qualified financial professional to plan for the three different phases of your retirement? Or do you just work with someone who puts all of your money into a brokerage account and lets everything ride? They probably live by the philosophy that the market has always done well and you'll be just fine when you retire, because they've put you into a quote, diversified portfolio. Friends, I've been hosting Safe Money Radio for 14 years, and I can tell you this. As a retirement income certified professional, that is no plan at all. And if you don't have a plan, it's going to come back to bite you in retirement. You need to have very specific plans in place for each phase of retirement that are designed to accommodate the spending needs that you have during each phase of retirement. This involves things like the healthcare needs that you have and the protection that you need to have, protection from market risk, protection from healthcare risk, protection from longevity risk. And that's exactly what we do for our clients. If your advisor has never talked to you about the three phases of retirement, I can assure you they don't have a plan for you. And failing to plan is planning to fail. I've spent my entire career helping clients develop a bulletproof plan for all phases of their retirement. If you would like a free financial review to see if you have the right plan in place for your family, just call us at 866-780-SAFE. That's 866-780-7233. When we meet, I will give you a copy of my best-selling book, Bulletproof, The Safe and Secure Retirement Income Plan, and I will let you take the Retirement Income Style Awareness Questionnaire absolutely free. This will produce a 20-page report showing you exactly what type of accounts you should own to line up with your purposes and your plans for your specific situation in your retirement. Just call us anytime at 866-780-7233 and ask for our free information. That's 866-780-7233, and there's someone standing by right now to take your call. Since I have to take a break, now would be a great time to call me for a complimentary copy of my best-selling book, Bulletproof, The Safe and Secure Retirement Income Plan. And I'll also give you a copy of my Safe Money Kit. My number is 866-780-SAFE. That's 866-780-7233. Isn't it time to stop exposing your retirement to market risk? You're listening to Safe Money Radio with Brad Pistole. If you're listening right now and you work in the Cox Health system, you might have recently received notice about an option that is available to you to move your frozen pension plan. One of the options available to you is to take a lump sum distribution, and you can roll this over to an IRA outside of the Cox Health plan. I'm a retirement income certified professional, and I've been helping Cox employees move their 403Bs and frozen pension plans out of the Cox system for the past 15 years. We know this system inside and out, and we can make this a very easy process for you. If you or someone you know has a frozen pension at Cox, just give us a call at 417-581-9222. Remember, this rollover is not a taxable event. We will show you how to keep this money 100% safe, and we will show you how to use this as a pension that will last the rest of your life. Our direct number is 417-581-9222, and you can call or text us anytime. Now remember, you only have until May the 19th to complete this rollover. So give us a call today at 417-581-9222.
Now back to more Safe Money Radio with your host, Brad Pistol.
Thank you for tuning in to Safe Money Radio. I am Brad Pistol, a market risk mitigation specialist, helping clients with retirement money preservation and income planning. On today's show, we've been talking about something that we're all looking forward to, the day that we get to retire. This is the day that we get to say goodbye to being someone else's slave, and we get to be the boss every day for the rest of our lives. We can stay up as late as we want to, sleep in as late as we want to, and go do whatever we want to do. I mean, that's everyone's dream, right? But here's the thing. Some people get to retirement and then realize they won't get to live the retirement of their dreams because they realize they failed to properly plan for it. Sure, there are a lot of things that they would love to go do, but they simply can't afford to do them. A lot of people find out during their retirement years that they're not what they thought they were going to be. You see, most people lose 1/2 to 1/3 of their retirement income when they're working, and that can be an adjustment when you're retired, especially if you aren't debt-free when you retire. We try to keep our clients from avoiding this problem in retirement. We want you to be able to afford to go do all the things that you would like to do in retirement, and that begins with understanding the 3 phases in everyone's retirement. This involves the go-go years, the slow-go years, and the no-go years. In the go-go years, you're going to go do all the things that you wished you could have been doing when you were working. And because you're young and healthy, you're normally going to spend the most amount of money during this phase. That's because you're going to go, and do all the things that you've always wanted to do. But then you'll hit the slow-go years. And that's normally in your mid-70s and early 80s. And this is when you just don't feel like traveling as much as you used to. You're going to do things more local, and you're going to stay closer to where you live. And by this stage of life, you're probably not going to have big expenditures like you did previously in life. You're not going to be buying RVs and boats and homes and cars and fancy toys. Normally, you're not going to spend as much on big fancy vacations. During this period of time, you might actually start selling things that you purchased during the first phase of retirement, and you might start downsizing and simplifying your life. And then you're going to hit the phase that no one likes to think about and most people don't want to talk about. You see, the third and final phase of retirement involves the no-go years. And this is when we start to lose control. The no-go years are when you don't have an option. You can't go anywhere and you can't do anything. And this is normally because your health and your age limit you from doing these types of things. Now, this might be because you're under home health care. You might be in a qualified nursing facility. Or you just simply may be at a point where you don't feel like traveling anymore. You know, we all hit the age when we don't like to drive at night or if it's raining. We even hit the age where we don't drive at all. And this phase of life can happen immediately and it can be unexpected. It can happen because of a heart attack or a stroke or some other type of accident that forces us to be under someone else's care. And this is where things can get really difficult financially. Normally, you would think that you would spend the least amount of money during this last phase of retirement. After all, you can't go anywhere and you can't do anything, so you would think that your spending would be really low. However, this is often not the case. The no-go years are often the years where you spend the most amount of money. And you want to know why? It's because of failure to plan properly. You see, currently the number one expense in retirement involves housing. And guess what? Housing often involves long-term care expenses. This might be because you're unable to continue living at your home, and now the nursing home is your home. And that's why the number 2 expense in retirement is always health care. This involves things like visits to the doctor's office or medical facility, surgeries, tests, scans, prescription medication, assisted living, and nursing home expenses, and the list goes on and on. Do you have a plan in place for the healthcare needs that you might experience during the no-go years of your life? Will your spouse or family members be able to physically and financially take care of you if you slip and fall and have to have rehabilitation? What if you have some other type of major medical condition that requires extensive treatment and recovery? These are the types of things that can pop up overnight and completely wipe out your entire retirement plan. It can literally empty your retirement accounts in a short period of time. The average nursing home costs in this area are between $70,000 to $80,000 a year, and the costs continue to increase every single year. We watch this happen to people all the time who don't have a plan, and we don't want to see it happen to you. This is why we listen to financial experts like Tom Hegna, the best-selling author of Don't Worry, Retire Happy, 7 Steps to Retirement Security. Now, do you want to know what 2 of Tom's 7 steps are? Secure more guaranteed lifetime income, and you must have a plan for long-term care. When you think about the 3 different phases of retirement, obviously one of them is going to be more fun than the others. It's the go-go years. It's the happy years. It's where you're going and doing and enjoying and playing and having fun living life with your family and friends. But then you're going to transition into the slow-go years. And if things progress normally, you will finally enter the last stage of retirement, the no-go years. You know, it's truly difficult knowing that you cannot go anywhere and it's beyond your control. But it is a realistic part of everyone's life, and it's part of your financial planning. And you need to make sure you have a plan for this phase of life. If you don't have traditional long-term care insurance and you don't have a permanent life insurance policy in place with long-term care benefits like critical illness and chronic illness, then you are a sitting duck for what could become a disaster in your retirement plan. Friends, when it comes to your retirement income, financial experts with their PhDs all agree you need guarantees in your retirement portfolio. That's why Tom Hegna and Dr. Wade Fowle constantly say you need more guaranteed lifetime income in your portfolio, and you simply must have a plan for the unknown, things like long-term care and medical emergencies. That's why you need to be working with a qualified financial professional who can help you with all 3 phases of retirement. So whether you're in the go-go years, the slow-go years, or the no-go years, you will have a plan for that phase of life, and that's exactly what we do. If you would like to read Tom Hegna's book, Don't Worry, Retire Happy, 7 Steps to Retirement Security, or if you would like to read my book, Bulletproof, The Safe and Secure Retirement Income Plan, just call us anytime at 866-780-SAFE. That's 866-780-7233. Well, I'm about out of time, and I would like to thank you for listening to Safe Money Radio. If you're serious about your financial future, give me a call, and together we'll get your retirement savings on the fast track to accumulation while reducing exposure to market losses. Thanks for listening, and until next time at the same time, I'm Brad Pistole, reminding you to stay safe so you can step into a secure future.
Safe Money Radio, your money safe and sound.
You've been listening to Safe Money Radio with your host, Brad Pistole. Find out how to contractually guarantee that your hard-earned money is safe while avoiding market loss so you can have the retirement that you deserve. Call Brad Pistole now for your complimentary Safe Money book and Safe Money information kit at 866-780-SAFE. That's 866-780-7233.
Safe Money Radio, your money safe and sound.
The preceding information does not represent tax, legal, or investment advice. Surrender charges apply to base contracts. Optional lifetime income benefit riders are used to calculate lifetime payments only and are not available for cash surrender or in a death benefit unless specified in the annuity contract. Fees may apply. Guarantees are based on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the insurance company. No information presented today should be acted upon without meeting with a qualified and licensed professional. Obviously, by calling us now, you are just taking the first step towards protecting your retirement. It's important that you read all insurance contract disclosures carefully before making a purchase decision. Rates and returns mentioned on this program are subject to change without notice.